Okay, so here is my project. I did it on the treatment of Wes Gibbins' abnormal behavior, who I did my abnormal behavior project on. So, just a little bit of review. How Wes got the abnormal behavior. He had many unfortunate life events, and just to sum it up, killed his mom. He was then put into a foster home. Um, he kind of erased all of this from his mind, so he doesn't remember any of this at all. And what we'll go over later, repressed memory. He killed his boss's husband. His girlfriend was killed. He shot his boss. She did, and that's her in the picture right there, Annalise Keating. But yeah, she asked him to shoot her, but either way, shooting a person affects you. And then his dad was shot finally when he went to meet him. So yeah, and this is the show How to Get Away with Murder. So just a review of the symptoms that Wes has, the abnormal behavior. Repressed memory is the big one that the show kind of outlines the most, and this is the inability to recall important personal information, usually of a traumatic or stressful nature, that is too extensive to be explained by ordinary forgetfulness. And he, like I said, represses killing his mom. He doesn't even remember that at all. And then the second one is chronic insomnia, which is one or more of the following sleep-related complaints: difficulty initiating sleep, difficulty maintaining sleep, waking up too early, or sleep that is chronically non-restorative or poor in quality. This case of insomnia was triggered by anxiety and depression, Wes's insomnia. So that's just a review from the previous project. Alright, so on to treatment of repressed memory. How to treat this is with repressed memory therapy, or RMT. And there's a lot of different methods to this, but here's just a few: hypnotism, guided imagery, dream work, use of drugs, or automatic writing. I'm just gonna explain a few of these. Hypnotism, basically try to hypnotize, just what it is. Dream work is where they say what you dream about is maybe connected to your repressed memories. And automatic writing is where they just want you to write anything down, and what you write down, maybe something will come to mind. Guided imagery is where they want you to kind of go through the process and come up with some scenes, and maybe you'll come up with your repressed memories. So, here's a little bit more about that. I went over the specific techniques, and one kind of fault with this is a lot of people say that some people uncover memories that weren't even real, and this is known as FMS, or false memory syndrome. And so, kind of the history of repressed memory therapy, there wasn't one specific person who came up with it, but it was a group of therapists in Boston in the early 1980s. And how they kind of came up with this was the book that inspired them, Father-Daughter Incest by Judith Herman, and it was about a woman who kind of reconstructed her memories of her childhood sexual abuse. So these therapists came up with repressed memory therapy to help other people. So, this is how it works. It's not, obviously, not an instant process. It can take years. I mean, it can happen fast, but usually it doesn't. And sometimes it never happens. But it doesn't appear immediately when it does start to appear. It just kind of comes back like pieces of a black and white photo. But, they're not really being put together. So, on to this. Chronic insomnia. There is many ways to treat this. So, both short and long term. So, short-term treatments are to avoid naps, avoid late meals, exercise regularly, limit caffeine and alcohol. And like getting into the long-term chronic insomnia, you might want to see a sleep specialist or have a medication. And I said this is the last resort because it is. Like if it gets so bad that you may want to see a specialist long term. And I mean, what am I talking about? That you may want to be prescribed medication, but this is a last resort because it can have some bad effects, as all medication can. It's just a little bit dangerous. And then the big one that I want to go over is cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a form of therapy that can directly treat chronic insomnia. So, like, kind of the time, like the space of time for chronic insomnia, it can last a few days. When it starts lasting a few weeks or a few months, that's when you want to take the larger measures if the helping measures like avoiding late meals aren't working for you. Then you want to start taking these other measures. So, a little bit more about cognitive behavioral therapy. The long-term goal of it is to change the thinking or behavior behind people's problems, to actually get in there and change it. And this was invented by famous psychiatrist Aaron Beck in the 1960s. It's been around for about 56 years. And the way he came up with it was he realized that his patients were having internal dialogue with themselves and not reporting this, and he called this automatic thoughts. So they were basically, while in therapy, thinking all these things and not telling him about it, just kind of keeping it wound up in their head and not reporting it. And he thought, if I can fix these thoughts, then I can fix this person's problem. So, this is how cognitive behavioral therapy works. It's a combination of psychotherapy and behavioral therapy, and it basically wants to focus in on the images, beliefs, and attitudes in a person's cognitive processes and how these things relate to their behavior. So, the therapists who practice CBT, they specialize in zooming in on their patients' personalities and interests and getting right down to the root of the problem, basically. Their thoughts, images, beliefs, and attitudes. See if any of these things are going to lead to the abnormal behavior, such as not being able to sleep. So, it's basically based off of the meanings we give to the thoughts in our heads. So, here's a little video that I found.
The number one thing that they should have taught you and I in school, by the time we're 18 years old, should have been financial.
Alright.
Cognitive behavioral
this
therapy,
is
or
really good
CBT,
video
is a form of intervention
going
widely
over-
used in psychotherapy, counseling.
Pause it. This is just a really good video that goes over what cognitive behavioral therapy is. It's a short video that you can watch, and it just really outlines it, so that's great. Back to this. That's pretty much it. So, that's Wes Gibbins and how to treat him. And here's just the works cited. And that is it.